My ex asked me to come back because her son still called me dad. 3 weeks later, she told me I could not see him because her new boyfriend might feel uncomfortable. I'm 33. My ex, Lauren, is 29. Her son, Mason, is 10. I met Lauren 7 years ago. Mason was 3. His biological father was not involved. At first, I was just helping. Then I became the person who showed up. Lauren and Mason had nowhere stable to live when we started dating. I let them stay with me. I bought groceries, paid the utilities, drove Mason to preschool, sat with him when he had nightmares. Lauren said I had saved them. I did not think of it that way. I loved her. Then I loved him too. A year later, Lauren moved closer to her mother. We tried long distance. Then she asked me to move. I found work near her, signed a lease, packed my life. 1 month before the move, she called and said she had lost feelings. I asked if I should cancel everything. She said no. She said, "You did so much for me. I owe you a chance to start over here." That should have warned me. I was not moving for a job. I was moving for them. When I arrived, she acted like we were together again. We slept in the same bed, ate dinner as a family, took Mason to school events. Then every few weeks, Lauren would say, "You need to remember we are not really together." I said, "Then why am I living like your partner?" She said, "Because we are figuring things out." I said, "You only seem to be figuring it out when I ask where I stand." I stayed. That is on me. But Mason was the reason. He started calling me dad. Not every day, then more often. The first time Lauren smiled. She said, "He knows who shows up." I helped with homework, taught him to ride a bike, went to parent meetings, stayed up when he had the flu. Lauren worked evenings, so most nights it was just me and Mason. I did the actual parenting. She let me. Then she pushed me out. Not all at once. She said she needed space. Then she said I was too involved. Then she said I was acting entitled because I was not Mason's biological father. I reminded her she'd called me his dad for years. She said, "That was different." After I moved out, she still called, usually when she needed something: a ride, money for school clothes, someone to watch Mason. Sometimes she invited me over. Sometimes we slept together. Then the next day, she would say it meant nothing. I finally told her, "You cannot use me as a boyfriend when you are lonely and a babysitter when you are busy." She said, "You said you loved Mason." I said, "I do." She said, "Then stop making this about me." That was the trap. If I protected myself, she said I was abandoning him. If I stayed available, she used that availability whenever it suited her. Eventually, she cut me off completely. No warning, no explanation. She stopped answering, blocked me, changed the school pickup list. I did not see Mason for 2 years. I still sent birthday and Christmas gifts. Lauren accepted them. Sometimes she thanked me. Once she wrote, "You saved Christmas again." I hated that sentence. Because if I was important enough to save his Christmas, why was I not important enough to hear his voice? 8 months ago, Lauren contacted me. She said Mason was struggling, bullying, fighting at school, bad grades. She said he still asked about me. She said he got excited when he heard my name. Then she said, "I think he needs you." I asked, "Do you mean that?" She said, "Yes, I should never have taken you away from him." That was all I needed. I still lived in another state. I had built a new life, a decent job, a small apartment, friends. Nothing exciting but stable. Then Lauren called, and I started rearranging everything. We spoke for weeks. We made plans. I would move closer. I would see Mason on weekends. I would help with school. Lauren said she wanted consistency for him. I said, "Then you cannot pull me out again the next time your life changes." She said, "I know, I promise." I moved. Again, not into her house. I was not that stupid, but close enough to be available. I took a worse paying job, paid deposits, changed my address. told my landlord, told my family. Every decision was based on seeing Mason again. Then Lauren mentioned she had been on a date, casually, like it did not matter. I said, okay. She asked if I was jealous. I said, no, I'm here for Mason. She said, good. After that, she started replying less. The first planned visit got postponed, then canceled. Then she stopped answering completely. I called her mother. She sounded uncomfortable. Then she admitted Lauren had a boyfriend, a serious one. I asked what that had to do with me seeing Mason. She said, you need to ask Lauren. When Lauren finally answered, I said, when am I seeing him? She said, you are not. I thought I misheard. I said, what? She said, I have a boyfriend now. What is he supposed to think if my son is spending time with my ex? I said, you asked me to move back. She said, I did not force you. I said, you told me Mason needed me. She said, he does, but this is complicated. I asked, was it complicated before I moved? She said, I did not know I would meet someone. That was the turning point. Her promises were only valid while she was single. The second another man appeared, 6 years of parenting became inconvenient. I said, so I am his father when you need help, and your ex when you want a boyfriend. She said, that is not fair. I said, it is exactly what you are doing. She said her boyfriend was uncomfortable. I asked if he had ever met me. She said no. I asked if Mason knew I had moved back. She said yes. I asked what she told him. She said, that plan's changed. I lost it then, not screaming, just done. I said, you used his hope to get me here, and now you are making me disappear again. She said, you are acting like you have rights. I said, I am acting like years of parenting should mean something. She said, you are not his real dad. That sentence erased everything. The school runs, the bedtime stories, the Christmas mornings, the hospital visits, the word dad. All of it became unreal because she needed it to be unreal. I told her, then stop taking gifts from men who are not family. She said, do not punish Mason because you are angry at me. I said, you have been using Mason to keep me useful for years. Her sister called me later. She said Lauren was trying to build a stable relationship. She said I needed to respect that. I said, stable for who? She said Mason needed a father figure in the home. I said, he already had one. She removed him. My brother thinks I should have known better. He said I kept volunteering for the same pain. He is not wrong. My mother says Lauren is protecting her new relationship. She is not completely wrong either. A new boyfriend might feel threatened by an ex who helped raise the child. But I was not asking to be her partner. I was asking not to be erased from a child's life whenever her dating status changed. Lauren sent one last message. She said, you need to let us move forward. I replied, you keep calling it moving forward because saying using people until they are inconvenient sounds worse. She blocked me. Again. This time I blocked her too. Changed my number. Told her family not to contact me. I also stopped sending gifts. That part is what people will judge. They will say Mason is innocent. He is. But I cannot keep buying access to a child I am not allowed to see. I cannot keep proving love through packages while his mother controls whether I exist. I was good enough to raise him, support him, and rescue every holiday. I just was not good enough to remain in his life when another man wanted the title. Maybe leaving completely is cruel. Maybe I should keep the door open for Mason in case he finds me someday. But for now, I am done letting Lauren decide when I am dad and when I am nobody.